led to 5 fatalities and 30 injuries. The second on the Buife-Tamale stretch claimed 19 lives in a horrific crash involving 2 Yutong buses. Sleep driving in this instance was the culprit. Now, the carnage on our roads has reached pandemic proportions, and tonight we place this issue under the microscope as we strive to ensure that we all arrive alive. This is Ghana Connect, and we're glad to have you connecting with us tonight. We connect right after this break.
He was standing there with only a few seconds left. Then the bomb would go. Kaboom! He didn't know which wire to cut. His hands were all sweating and shaking. The knife was even slipping from his hand. The time was going. 3, 2, 1.
Get the best companion for your HD TV with HD Plus. Visit the nearest dealer for your HD Plus decoder and subscribe via *879# to enjoy the feely experience now.
If we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change.
Winning strategies, nuggets of wisdom, unforgettable stories, all in one inspirational hour. Springboard your virtual university with Albert and Comfort Okran and guests.
Planning is bringing the future into the present.
A job is for the salaries, mundane, survival oriented, and there's no passion. But a career has fulfillment, innovation, drive. A growth path is clear, and you can build step by step all the way to the top.
Matriculate at 7 p.m. and graduate at 8 p.m. every Sunday on Joy 99.7 FM and live on Facebook. Springboard is brought to you by Legacy and Legacy and Joy 99.7 FM and proudly sponsored by MTN, Enterprise Group, UMB Bank, and Axis Pension Trust with support from the graphic business.
Here's where we turn around. Kwesi, nansabe na unumi.
Whiskey.
Kwesi pa. Wash. All of a sudden, my voice are different, and I will need to call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Charlie, honey near dear Frau. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now to taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman. Wash. Barman, I beg, bring my friend one honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock honey whiskey.
Yeah, Black Rock honey whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey blended with real honey. Trebi, the feel is smooth, Nasno. Kasaprakon Samuel Mapano Bakunie, Nomniansamu, one Tomani Power Nifi Duatri, and Sesapim Fornum. FDA Asha said Jadin Kratui, one Jatumose.
This week on Joy Learning, JH's lessons are from Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. with a repeat at 6:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. Monday, English, Comprehension. Tuesday, French, continuation of passé composé of reflexive verbs. Wednesday, ICT, printing a Word document. Thursday, Math, Commission. Friday, Integrated Science, Nature and States of Matter. For updates on weekly schedules, log in to myjoyonline.com or adomonline.com. For more videos on our lessons, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Joy Learning TV. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Joy Learning TV and on Instagram at Joy_Learning TV. Joy Learning at 1, celebrating a year of impactful television teaching and learning. Joy Learning. Keep learning.
Oh yes, the maiden edition was educative, inspiring and fun. And our bubbly children dazzled our audience with their display of rare intelligence and academic prowess. But this year even promises to be more fun, more educative and very competitive as we draw schools together. Your ever educative kiddie quiz is open for private and public basic school pupils from class 4 to 6. Let the battle for supremacy in Ashanti region basic schools begin on 2021 kiddie quiz. It will be live on Love FM and Ghana's first educational channel, Joy Learning, supported by Alpha and Omega Publications. Get ready to support your alma mater in Ashanti region. To register, pick a form at Love FM Studios in Kumasi or call 0542-545-947 to fill an online form. Remember, all COVID-19 protocols will be highly observed throughout this event. Kiddie Quiz is brought to you by Love 99.5 FM, Alpha and Omega Publications, and Joy Learning. Joy Learning. Keep learning.
There goes feels my heart beating, 'cause you are the reason.
Hey love, happy Valentine's to you. Yes, it's the season of love and we're sending loads of love your way. We have been admonished to stay at home as much as we can because of COVID-19. So stay at home this Valentine and have some fun with our Cute Couples Challenge. Yeah, here's what you have to do. Go into your photo gallery on your phones or laptops. Find the cutest photo ever of you and your partner that depicts love and friendship. Share this photo on your social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with the hashtag JoyCuteCouples. Don't forget to send same photo to our WhatsApp platform on 055 1111997. Tell your friends to crush on that cute photo of you and your partner and ask them to go love, like, and comment on that photo. The cutest photo with the most engagements will be treated to the best stay-at-home Valentine celebrations ever. It's that simple. The Joy Cute Couples Challenge is brought to you by Spa, My Spa, My Market, Synergy Multimedia, Relish Those Magical Moments, Coca Looks, Corporate and Casual Looks, Look Good, Feel Good, IDEX Supplies Limited, Home of Quality Wines, Janelle Gift Shop, home for gift items for all occasions, Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center.
Just to be with you and fix what I've broken.
Traffic accidents is a terrible thing. Imagine just picking a bag that you are going and come only to be lifted by ambulance or haze from Stone Government Hospital for specialist attention in Kolebu.
As she recounts the traumatic experience of November 14, 1993, tears fill the eyes of a retired fire officer.
The articulator was overtaken and met ours on head-on. I am alive and God has made me survive for a purpose.
Well, it's on 13 minutes of the top of the hour. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Joy 99.7. It is a Ghana Connect, and our focus tonight, road accidents and the carnage, the pandemic that it has become. Don't you forget, tonight we'd love to have you connect with us, share with us your road accident experiences. Yes, it's a bit of a morbid subject to discuss, but as we keep discussing it, of course, we can get a lot more people sensitized about the danger. So do share with us on our WhatsApp line 0551 111 997. Note that number 0551 111 997. That's how indeed you can get interactive with us. We'd love to hear from you. Share with us your accident experiences. And of course, what do you think can be the solutions as we try to end this menace of road carnage? Let me just let you know our guests for tonight on the show. Engineer Dr. Williams Akah. He is a senior research scientist, Building and Road Research Institute. He is going to be joining us. There's also DSP Alexander Obeng, who is the Director of Training and Advocacy with the MTTD. And last but not least, Seth Kwame Boateng, a journalist. He's in the thick of things when it comes to the Arrive Alive campaign. We're also going to be joined by, I should add, in fact, Awal Mohammed, who is with the Ghana Motor Riders Association. All of them connecting with us tonight on the Ghana Connect. So I'd like to say a very good evening to all our guests, Engineer Akah, DSP Alexander Obeng, and of course, Awal Mohammed and Seth Kwame Boateng. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
It's a pleasure to have you join us tonight. Maybe we should start from here with you, DSP Alexander Obeng. Looking at the statistics over the years, we see that there's a certain trajectory. We make some gains and then we revert. There are many more losses that come our way. And we've been told that last year there were some 2,500 casualties on the back of the accidents that we had. Why do we keep having this back and forth, really?
All right. Good evening once again to your very self and other compatriots on the other side. First of all, one correction. My name is Lieutenant Alexander Kweku Obeng, and I'm at the national, we come to the national headquarters at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department as a director in charge of education, research, and training. I think the road safety problems that confronts the world also have given us a share in this republic, particularly based on data since 1991. We've seen a consistent increase, which can also, to a very large extent, be attributed to road construction and increases in vehicular population, and then the human population, and of course, the challenges we have regarding the approved road safety management countermeasures that are as a result of data-led, but sometimes difficult to procure, or lack of the willingness or capacity, among others. And in recent times, it has emerged clearly that the road, the human factor, and the vehicle contribute in a very complex and intricate way that the outcome is what we see. And also the current behavior among us regarding vehicle ownership and use of the road, particularly motorcycle, which all of a sudden, no long, you could not attribute much to use of motorcycle, but currently, you agree with me, given the data I have from 2019 to 2020, you observe that whilst pedestrian knockdown and associated deaths is decreasing compared with the total fatality, that of the motorcycle is jumping all other road user class that currently 1,056 or out of the 2,589 that died between 1st January and 31st December last year were as a result of motorcycle. Of course, when you look at the vehicles that were involved in these crashes, you realize that fewer were the motorcycle, but these few ones are the ones that killed as many as we are discussing. So generally, you also know periodically the unusual road users that come on our roads during our periodic and cyclical 4-year elections that recent time we observed also contributed to most of the avoidable crashes that we registered, given that see unusual road users coming on the road as political actors, embarking on unplanned and unusual trips, and trying in many cases not to comply as a result of the de-individuation that goes with electioneering that leads to people mounting or boarding prohibited vehicles for passengers, including prime movers or articulator trucks and tipper trucks, among others. And in the process, one crash will register more casualties during election years. Also, has been one factor or the other interplaying, but in all this, it's been, and the data will show, and I know that my mentor, Dr. Afuka, will let you know that, irrespective of what we do, until we are able to sustain the countermeasures that are in designed across the world for use in Ghana, if we play laziness with it, it comes back to haunt us, because there are certain three factors that we cannot avoid: the road, the vehicle, and in Ghana, the human factor, which comes with it all attendant social pressures that leads to some of these things.
Right.
And of course, we also have other systemic challenges that other agencies that are mandated to also carry out their mandate to reduce these crashes also play on all.
Sufo, we'll get to talk about those other systemic challenges you speak of, including, the bit about the motorcycle riders. In fact, we are fortunate enough to have Awal Mohammed, who is actually with the Ghana Motor Riders Association. I will be discussing with him. Maybe you can also share your thoughts on what he says. But let me quickly acknowledge that we've been joined by the Managing Director of VIP Zone, Adakabre Frimpong Manso. Mr. Frimpong Manso, a very good evening to you, sir. Okay, it appears we may not have Mr. Frimpong Manso on the line. He will connect with us. And don't you forget that for those of you listening to us tonight on Ghana Connect, we want to connect with you. Do share with us your road accident experience. Do let us know what exactly your experience has been, and let's all sensitize one another. The number is 0551 111 997. I also have here in the studio Seth Kwame Boateng, who is a patron when it comes to the Arrive Alive campaign. He's a journalist. Kwame, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, bro.
So when you look at the road situation, in this month of January, we've had two very serious accidents happening, both, on the stretch from the northern belt coming down south. What is your immediate reaction? It appears we make gains and then those gains are eroded.
Yes, but looking at the statistics we recorded in the country last year, having over 2,500 people die. These are preventable deaths, and about 1,056 of these deaths came from cycles. It's a problem, and
that's actually, if you look at the figures, that's a little over 40%.
Yes, and I'm very scared that we have just started a year and we've already recorded these numbers. Just hoping and pray that we aren't going to add more to the numbers we already have. And what makes it a very big problem, and in fact a public health problem, is the numbers involved and how a number of people are gradually getting incapacitated. I've just gone around the country. I'm part of the national team handling the Arrive Alive campaign. I've toured the country. I've spoken to our people who matter, revered individuals who we need to join this campaign. And I've just returned, and in some of the hospitals I visited, there are a number of people who have sustained injuries. Some have been amputated, others a whole lot. And they have been discharged. They can't even pay their bills, so they have been hospitalized. The problem is a number of these drivers and pedestrians, do not even have health insurance card. They have not registered. They are not on the health insurance. So they get involved in an accident. They are sent to hospital. Some, their family members don't even know they are about. They're in the hospitals and they have been detained. I met quite a number of these people over there. And they are struggling to even pay their bills. All because they didn't bother about the insurance system. And so they are fighting for their lives there. They have been discharged and some can't even pay. So they are being kept.
That is part of the social cost.
That is
of
the
accidents.
part of the social cost. You know, in this country, we use 1.6% of our GDP to take care of some of these things. The accident, 1.6% of our GDP. It's a big deal, and studies suggest that we approximately 230 million yearly on Dalis, and that is another issue. So we must approach this holistically. We must all be concerned. We must not say that, well, I am safe, so I should not care about what they are saying. No, you don't know what can happen to you in the next minute. You understand? It's a whole issue that we must all be involved and be part of the campaign, ensure that we arrive alive, because we can't sit down for these lives to go just like that. These are avoidable deaths. And I know that the experts that we have on the phone will raise the other issues, the road infrastructure, they need to dualize our roads, they need to ensure that road markings are clear, traffic lights are working, that we have drivers, about two of them, intercity drivers, two drivers all the time, so that when one is tired, it's not that when one is tired, that when you drive to a particular point, another person can
tired
take over,
or not,
so that fatigue
someone else
not,
takes over.
So that fatigue will not set in. And that is a major issue that we have in this country. And we must all be concerned.
Right before I bring in Dr. William Zakar, who is Senior Research Scientist, Building and Road Research Institute, because you touched on the numbers, I just want to take a quick look at that. When you look at degrees of injury from 2015 to 2018, you would realize that of all the accidents we have, the seriously injured in 2015 were 4,905, just a little shy of 5,000. Those slightly injured over 5,660. 2016, 5,237 for those seriously injured, a little below that for the slightly injured. 2017, 5,677 with the slightly injured, a little close to 5,000. And in 2018, a little over 6,000, and that's for the seriously injured. And those slightly injured, 5,542. So it appears the trajectory is one that is shooting up.
And before they come in, around the world, it is estimated that every 24 seconds somebody dies through road traffic accident. And when I looked at the literature from Ghana, it appears every day we lose 6 lives, averagely, every day.
An average of 6 lives?
Yes, that's what the literature tells us, every day, to road traffic accident.
Let's do the multiplication. That would give us the average of how many people we lose every year, likely. But let me engage Dr. Carr now. Doc, looking at the situation in Ghana, and especially as you are into building and road research, what fundamentally is the problem? Does it have to do with our road infrastructure? What is the problem fundamentally?
Okay, thank you very much. The problem is multifaceted. We have issues of the road, which of course is contributing to some of these crashes. There is also the issue of vehicle. Mechanical failures from the vehicles are also contributing to these crashes. And then, of course, there is also the issue of road user, which the police officer raised. It constitutes between 85-90% of all road traffic crashes. And then our post-crash response rate is also very poor. When a crash happens, the time it takes for us to get to the site, react, take care of patients before we transport them to the hospital is also not helping. So it's a multi-factor event. We have issues of the road and its environment, issue of the road user, issue of the vehicle, and then our post-crash response rate.
Right. So from the engineering perspective, what do you see that we ought to be doing? Let's focus on the roads. Indeed, we know that per the statistics, sometimes when the roads are better, there happen to be even more accidents, which is unfortunate. But from the engineering perspective, is there anything we can learn, rope into our system to forestall accidents on our roads?
Yes, we have to design our road so that our road is friendly. When a crash happens, and then a vehicle is involved in a crash, the nature of the road should be that even if indeed the driver made a mistake, he should be forgiven. So we should design our road in such a way that they are forgiven. Whenever we need to provide guardrails in a ditch, for instance, so that in the case of a crash, the guardrail will protect the vehicle from getting into the ditch. We should design our curves so that drivers will find it comfortable to negotiate those curves without going through any difficulty. We should design our roads in such a way that if you have a high volume traffic road like the Accra Kumasi road, at least we should get a dual carriage road so that that friction between the vehicles will reduce, which will help in reducing these crashes. So of course, we can do something about the road. Usually what we do is that we design our roads for mobility, just to carry people. We don't take into consideration the safety aspect. So you can see a very expensive road which has been built, but there is no road marking. Simple things which we will do, which will help us save life, doesn't exist. We can do so much with the road environment, which can help us reduce these road traffic crashes.
Very important points you make, and I'd just like to reach out to you out there listening to us as well, that you can connect with us 0551 111 997. 0551 111 997. That is on WhatsApp. We'd like to know your road accident experience, what you have learned, and what you can share with us tonight on Ghana Connect. But let's connect now with Mr. Frimpong Manso, who is actually with VIP. If you can hear me, Mr. Frimpong Manso, I'd like to find out from you, per what we know, what your establishment uses, what are the responsibilities of drivers on our roads generally, but of course, with commercial drivers like those in your fold?
Good evening, Ben, and good evening to your listeners. Basically, I would say drivers' responsibility is to first to ensure that they can safely manipulate the motion vehicle to safety and ensure that they undertake a series of mathematical calculations to ensure they do avoid obstacles on their way.
Okay, so that is the basic. But now let's come to the bit about sleep driving. In recent times, we have seen that, in fact, two of the major accidents we have seen in this past month of January, the first one had some allusion to sleep driving. The second one, confirmed that indeed that happened. Why is it that we have a law governing long distance driving and, drivers having to take a break after some 4 or 5 hours, and that is not being implemented even by the major outfits with buses plying our roads? Why is that?
I would say that we've been quite lazy in enforcing our rules, because you pick the legislative instrument 2180, and there are very good provisions in it, but for the enforcement, we would have been safe on our roads. Now there isn't even coming about a new legislative instrument that will place sanctions on motor operators or transport operators who fail to undertake certain road safety actions. So I would say first, we are just not too serious about enforcing the rules as provided in the current LI, and I doubt whether the new one that will come out when Parliament resumes, we will be able to enforce them. If we are able to do that, then basically everybody has to, the drivers especially, would have to be responsible, and the transport operators would also have to be responsible, and will be aware of their responsibilities and the sanctions that come about when you record a certain number of crashes.
Let's set aside the LI. You've been using the conditional and the future tense, will, would, and all of that. How about responsibility for outfits like yours? The law may not be biting, but you have a certain responsibility. When people die, you cannot bring back dead people. So how are you in your outfit ensuring that these things do not happen? What measures are you putting in place to forestall these happenings?
Basically, as VIP John Transport, driver training is one of the key areas that the driver would have obtained the specialist F license and then would undergo refresher course every year. The airline would have said that a minimum of 48 hours you should have undergone the refresher course, which has not been enforced. Yet VIP John ensures that our drivers undergo a 5-day refresher training and certified. So in that instance, we, as per the accident records held at the transport MTTT, you would see that, yes, there may be accidents involving, say, a VIP, but an investigation of it would not point to that clear laxity of, like you mentioned, the sleep, fatigue and sleeping over the steering wheel. So, yes, driver training is very key, and we ensure that we also do pre-departure assessment of the coach before it moves to ensure that they do not suffer mechanical failures that could contribute to an accident occurring.
Before I move on to Awal, I just had to, put through this question. Do you have multiple drivers when they're going on long journeys for VIP zone? Do you have multiple drivers when it's a journey from, let's say, Accra to Tamale or something of the sort? Do you have multiple drivers, or do you feel the training suffices?
No, not the training to fight it, but we have multiple drivers to the extent that any VIP joint coach that goes beyond Kumasi, certainly there will be a second driver. We put it assistant driver to ensure that at all times there's a fit driver behind the steering wheel.
Let me come now to Awal Mohammed, who is with the Ghana Motor Riders Association. Awal, if you can hear me, the statistics point to the fact that a lot nowadays of the road crashes or the accidents that we have actually involve motorcycles. In fact, when you look at the statistics from last year, about 1,056 of those out of 2,500 plus involving motorcycles, which is about 40.78%. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, Awal, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, and let me greet my colleagues on the other side. Actually, the statistics as it is scaring. It's not just for 2020. I think it's starting from somewhere 2005 onwards coming. When you look at 2011 statistics, it shows that pedestrian knockdown is about 42%, just as same as we have almost this time round. If you listen to, I think the one who just presented, the engineer, he did talk about the pedestrian knockdown around 1,056. It's very scary. So that links up. But you see, I got worried as we are linking up the motorcycle accident to the pedestrian knockdown. I think that we need to be very clear on that. I don't have that statistic as it is now, but I want to know and be very sure that what we have now on the motorcycle accident is actually 1,056, and not that it is about pedestrian knockdown. Because if you talk of pedestrian knockdown, it's not only motorcycle that will be involved in pedestrian knockdown. So I want to know from the MTTD officer whether it is actually only motorcycle. However, motorcycle.
Maybe let's address that question before we move on, so it doesn't get lost in the mix. Supo, if you're listening in, we'd like that clarification that Awal is seeking when it comes to the dynamics of motorcycle accidents or motorcycles involved in any accidents from last year. Break it down for us. Do we have Superintendent Alexander Obing on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. So
your question again.
Awal Mohammed is with the Ghana Motor Riders Association, and he is, in a way, challenging some of the statistics that have come out when it comes to, road fatalities or accidents involving motorcycles. Per what you've told us, the 1,056 incidents involving motorcycles from the year 2020. What is the breakdown when it comes to pedestrians and others? What is the breakdown?
Oh, thank you very much. I'm surprised that we haggling over the dead because it's unfortunate one death is one too many. I recall I said that this trend is outstripping that of a pedestrian since last 2 years, 2019. The trend became very clear. Prior to that, of every 100 deaths, it was 42 that was attributed to pedestrian. Now, motorcycle has taken over. And this is what we have. When you look at the death, the fatalities or mortalities last year, recorded 2,580 deaths on our road as a result of commercial vehicles crashing, private vehicles crashing, and motorcycles, or either of these also knocking down pedestrians. So if you look at our breakdown of the 25,152 vehicles that were involved in these crashes, including motor bicycles, private and commercial vehicles, private vehicles that were involved in the crashes were 10,112. Of these private vehicles killed 569 of the 2,589 persons that died. Of the commercial vehicles, 9,356 commercial vehicles were involved in all crashes. And its impact on life that led to death stands at or stood at 964.
Right.
And when you look at motorcycles.
Right. And that is what I want us to focus on very briefly, Supo.
If I can look at the motorcycle, it's accounted, it's motorcycles that were involved in crashes. And when we talk about motorcycles, we are talking about all the models, and there were 5,684. And out of these, of all the crashes, it killed 1,056. They also all have their corresponding mobility. So it's the data shows clearly that of the user class, road user class, motorcycle, though fewer were involved in crashes, killed many.
The fatalities were more.
Out of yes.
Right. Thank you very much for that clarification. Awal, what is how do you respond to that?
Yes, I'm very grateful for the clarification. I think that is why this gives us a challenge that as a nation we all have to look at it. What do we do to minimize this kind of fatality that has occurred? Because as it is, it's possible that the fatality is due to the laws that we have regulating the motorcycle. Because if we have a law that that we have been working with for all this while and still we are increasing this, we are getting increasing number of fatalities, then it means that we need to look at the law and see what we can do to make it better so that the rate will either reduce drastically.
So are you talking of some regulation when it comes to motorcycles? Is that what you're calling for?
Yes, I'm calling for the regulations on the motorcycles.
But that would subtly be accepting. I mean, from the commercial angle, that would subtly be accepting. The Okada stance and all of that. And we know what the position is for now. I mean, there's been discourse on this on the floor of Parliament and all. So, what exactly is the way forward when it comes to this?
Well, one of the ways I think that we need to engage these people, those of us who are using the motorcycles, the Okada riders, the private motor riders, and even the tricycles, then we need to always engage them and give them education on the road user so that they will be road user friendly. And aside that, we in our association, we have always been doing it because we know that we are largely doing it on commercial basis. So we engage our riders and keep on educating them on what to do so that they will be more road friendly. And on our side, we have I think it's only because of the COVID period that we did not engage the National Road Safety commission. But for 1.5 years, we have engaged the National Road Safety Commission to train our riders. Then also we used to call on the MTTD and then DVLA to come and educate us. But once we have people who are always on the road, we need to get refresher courses that will always make us be alert on the road. And that, I think, will help us a lot on that. Regarding that, you just talked about the laws. The laws is also very punitive. Because of its punitive nature, people are in hurry to go. And so it's like anytime, anywhere, any police officer who meets you on the road wants to arrest you. Because he knows that what you are doing perhaps is just but it's not regulated. By law, you are not supposed to use the motorcycle for commercial purposes. And so once he knows that you are doing that for commercial purposes, he wants to arrest you. So you also want to dodge or run away from arrest. That may also cause this. That is why we are calling on the regulation on the law, so that police officers will not be arresting you even in the night. In the night now, if you come to Techiman and go to wherever you see that we are using motorcycles, you would observe that the police officer wants to arrest the tricycle user or the motorcycle user, because he knows that when you go to the face of the law, the person, the user, has not got any defense.
All right.
Let's person will also try to run away from arrest. I think that we should look at that. So
but that would account for.
That might be one of the causes of the increasing number of fatality in this aspect.
Point made in that respect. Let me just let those of you who are listening to us, as you share your road accident, experiences, gory as they may be, I'd also like you to share your thoughts on this entire bit about motorbikes and their commercial use. You can also chip in that bit. What do you think, whether it's a positive or a negative? As you send us WhatsApp messages on 0551 111 997. Before I come back to Supo, I want Manuel Coranting to walk us through some of the details when it comes to road incidents. But first of all, let's listen to this. We're still connecting right here on Ghana Connect. Manuel Coranting, now, what are the details that you have when it comes to road accident situation in Ghana?
Indeed, Ben, a lot of messages are coming through our WhatsApp console, and I've been picking a few of them. And let me run you through those ones that have come. This one says that the road accident this year is too much, and also some drivers are not respecting road signs. That is why we are having these numbers. This is Hero from Tegby, and this message says that a few years ago I was going to Connecticut to watch Ghana play USA. I had driven 9 hours from Ohio and I was tired and sleepy. The few seconds I got unconscious of myself, I ran into the concrete curb dividing the road. If not for the concrete curb, I would have run into an oncoming vehicle. You see the road from Pantang Junction to Ayimensa. That's how roads should be. I'm surprised in Ghana, single-lane roads are still being constructed. This one also says unofficial speed ramps created by community folks on our roads also contribute significantly to road accident. Ghana Highways Authority should make sure that some of these illegal speed ramps are dismantled as soon as they are mounted. And I'll finally end with this one. Lincoln in Akwitiman says Ghana Police, DVLA, GPRTU, Road Safety Authority have all responsibilities to ensure that the killings on our road reduce. They should do more to enforce the laws and save lives. Maybe finally, Ben, our roads are totally dark, single lane, pothole ridden. You don't need the engineers or the MTTD to come tell us these. The country says that there's a problem from the top to the bottom. Fix the routes before blaming drivers and pedestrians. Charles in Legon sent that one.
I realized that some of the language there you couldn't read because sometimes people get too upset
Definitely.
that the
So
things they
passionate
send
about
are...
the issue. And when you look at the carnages that we're seeing on the roads, definitely some of these things expected.
Manuel Kranting there, my colleague, and I thought you were going to hit us with some statistics, but you've indeed hit us with some of those messages. As at Kwame Wating, I'd quickly like you to respond to some of these because he's talking about the sleeping watchmen, those, what's the other name escapes me, the ramps, basically.
Yeah.
And the other situation about our road. So what is your reaction to that?
And it's all over the country, and they are right. Some of the ramps, the illegal ones that are people in the communities mount are also not helping. And they are, of course, these are part of the reasons we are recording all these numbers. And
in some areas, they are terrible. People
terrible.
You can have so many on just a short stretch of road.
Yes, and I'm trying to get some of the statistics, something that we put together. Between 2015 to 2018, there has been 37,422 crashes. Of these, we recorded a total of 51,065 casualties with 7,729 fatalities.
Wow.
And it will shock you to know that the age, I want to get the
age dynamics.
Age dynamics. The age group with the highest deaths is between 26 to 35. 26 to 35. And from 2015 to 2018, we lost 5,031 of them within this age group. It tells you how serious the problem is and why we must be deliberate the people we are targeting.
We are losing the lifeblood of our country. We'll be joined shortly by a member of parliament who will be sharing his own experience of an accident, actually, just to, make the picture clearer. But I don't want to forget this, lest I forget. So, Superintendent Obeng, I just want you to walk us through this. The statistics for the month of January, are they available now? I spoke a few days ago to Mr. Sumaning of the National Road Safety Authority, and he didn't have those available at the time. Are they available now, and what picture do they paint? Supo, are you there?
I think we have churned it out, but I'm here. Unfortunately, they are available, but I don't have them with me at the moment.
Right. Okay, so I'm sure subsequently we'll get access to them. But right now we connect with the Member of Parliament for Odan, Akwesi Akwa, who recently suffered an accident of his own. He'll be sharing that experience with us. Honourable, a very good evening to you. We appear to have lost the Honourable Member of Parliament for Odan. We're going to try to initiate contact with him and have him share this experience. I mean, sometimes, you see, a photo in Sakranipa, so sometimes we need to hear the experiences of others to, counsel ourselves. But let me rope in now Mr. Frimpong Manso, let me say, maybe as we get ready to wrap. So what do you see to be the way forward when it comes to especially commercial vehicles and how they operate? I would have you hold on to your thoughts there as we reconnect with the Honourable Member of Parliament for Odan. Honourable, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So in the next few minutes, I'd like you to share your story. What exactly happened in that accident? When did this happen?
It happened last Monday when we had finished an orientation ceremony for the majority group in Parliament. And so we're coming from Koforidua. I had set off around 5:30 and I was driving myself. And then 5 minutes into the journey, I got into a bridge, and the town is called Isuya. And it's a kind of bridge that I'm told was constructed during the colonial days. And the bridge is not able to take two cars. And so definitely one has to make way for the other. A taxi driver that was coming ahead of me gave me the right of way. So as I drove into the middle of the bridge, here we are with a trotro driver who just overtook the taxi driver and rammed straight into my car.
Wow.
Thank God I was driving a very big car, F-150, and so there were 6-7 people in the trotro vehicle that sustained various degrees of injuries. And I found myself at the edge of the valley of the river. I mean, it's one of the most
ravine.
valleys you can ever have. The
There is a
bed
ravine.
is so low. If I had gone into it, if I had tumbled
Thank God.
into it, that was going to be the end. And that was when I decided that I'm going to be an ambassador
right,
for road safety. Because, I mean, I could have just ended my life. And this is how others end their lives. And then we keep talking about it. And then it becomes literature. And that's it.
I heard one of our contributors, our guest tonight, talking about the fact that it's a ravine actually down there. But on the back of this, it's been some sort of epiphany for you, because I know you've decided to make a statement on the floor of Parliament. Tell us a bit about that.
That's what I'm putting myself together. We are on the way for another retreat in Ada, and so afterwards, I think I'll find time to put these on, because I think some of us would have to join the advocacy and make sure we push it right. We are not all talking about COVID, because at the end of the day, there is no respect of persons, and everybody is covering up, masking up, because it could affect everybody. There are people who think that they are out of the woods when it comes to road carnage. And so those of us who have actually had this experience, we think that we need to push.
Right. A very good initiative you're starting. But as we wrap up on the show, we have just 5 minutes left. I'd like to find out from each of our guests tonight what the solutions really are in terms of bringing an end to the road carnage in our country. Honorable, I'll start with you. What are some of the solutions you can proffer, very briefly?
I think we need to stop the talk shop. We just need to stop talking and put pragmatic measures. If it's roads that we need to reconstruct and make sure. I mean, everybody is talking about the fact that that bridge is too narrow. And so we know that it is not a kind of bridge that should serve people, but we have left it there. So we should stop talking and act.
Well, thank you very much, Honourable, for sharing your thoughts there. Honourable Akwa, Member of Parliament for Oda, sharing his thoughts. He was that close. Let me come now to someone who would be an expert in this area, Engineer Dr. William Zaka, Senior Research Scientist, Building and Road Research Institute. For you, what would be some of the solutions you would proffer?
Okay, so we know almost all the risk factors which are contributing to this type of road traffic crashes, excessive speeding on our roads. Between 90 to 97% of road users or drivers exceed posted speed limits of 50 kilometers per hour. Alcohol, for instance, has also been identified as a major factor. 5.5% of all drivers sampled exceeded the blood alcohol limits. And there is also the non-use of seatbelts, helmets. Enforcement, for me, is very key. The police need to enforce the law. As you mentioned, good roads even results in more fatal crashes as compared to the bad roads. So enforcement of all the risk factors is very key to this. And the issue on the pedestrian, on the motorcycle crashes, for me, is very worrying, because from the statistics over the year, the problem has always been pedestrian. And so if motorcyclists have overtaken pedestrian fatalities, then that is very worrying, and we need to take serious action against it.
Okay, I think we would have to...
Again, the pedestrian issue is still persistent. There is the need to provide for pedestrians when we build in urban areas, because that issue has been with us for a very long time.
Well, thank you very much, Engineer, for proffering your thoughts. So let me quickly move on to Awal Mohammed. What would be your thoughts in terms of by way of solutions?
I would entreat that we need to keep on educating our users and then the riders also. Then again, we also have to look at the law, which I always talked about. Then aside that, we will have to look at the police unit. Maybe it's possible, it's about time that we should get a police unit in charge of motorcycles, so that they will be more expert in it to see. So because what is it that is because of late, there's a lot of increasing motor usage in our country, and for that matter, there's a need for us to research into it and see how we can use that to
All right.
reduce
All
the
right.
damage on the road.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Frimpong Manso, what would be your wrap-up comments by way of solutions? Do we have Mr. Frimpong Manso? Okay. If we don't, then let me wrap up with Supo. Supo, so for you, from the MTTD's end, in some 30 seconds, what would be your solution? Hello, Supo, can you hear me? Superintendent Alexander Obeng, can you hear me? Okay, let me just clarify as well that Mr. Frimpong Manso. All right, it appears we've lost both of them on the line. Unfortunate, but we're going to wrap up on the show with these last-minute comments, messages that have come through. Manuel.
Yes, Ben, a lot of them coming from up north. This one says, as Road Safety Commission, especially Northern Region, we need, as part of orientation and education for motorcycle users, and the person puts in brackets, keke users, what is popularly referred to as pragya, take riders and drivers to accident and emergency units of hospitals. This can be done in turns, using sectional levels and repeated twice in a year. We need to set up and save lives. This one says, I think the guy said it all. Education is all it takes. And finally, this one says that the man from VIP isn't being honest about two drivers on journeys after Kumasi. I was in a VIP coach to Sampa recently, and only one driver took us there. When coming back to Accra after 2 days, that same driver, that same coach brought us.
Okay.
What has he got to say about this? Well, to be fair, he's not at VIP, he's at VIP Zone. These are two different entities, and so just to put a bit of context to that. But some bit of the, round-up thoughts coming through on the show, Ben.
Well, let me just indicate as well that we engaged the National Road Safety Authority to have a rep come through, but at the last minute, that was not possible. It did not happen. I'd just like to acknowledge our guests for tonight: Engineer William Zakar, Senior Research Scientist, Building and Road Research Institute, Superintendent Alexander Obeng, Director of Training and Advocacy with the MTTD, Seth Kwame Watting, a journalist, and of course Adakabre Frimpong Manso, MD VIP Zone, and finally Awal Mohammed, Ghana Motor Riders Association. To all of you who have connected with us tonight, thank you very, very much. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. I've done this with the support of Ernest Kojomenu and Manuel Karante. Coming up next, George Addo Jr. with The Locker Room. Do stay.
For all your sports news and The Locker Room.